the Patriots have the blueprint on how to beat the Jets. Goes back several years. They did it again.
How to Be Your Daddy by the New England Patriots.
10-3 in a pretty boring game. Offensively challenged game, some winds, some cold weather. Both quarterbacks, it was a struggle for both of them differently in different ways. But, yeah, the Patriots now have won 14 straight versus the Jets. This one came down to a last second with 5 seconds left. Marcus Jones, the rookie, 84-yard punt return, the second longest go-ahead fourth-quarter touchdown in Patriots history. It's the longest since 1962. Just a strange game, not one that you walk away with your, if you're any offensive player, with your head held high.
No.
But, Bill and the Patriots, as they've done in recent years, have found a way to beat the Jets. What'd you make of it?
Well, again, tough physical football game. Both defenses are really good. Both defenses have a great feel for how the other one wants to attack. The biggest thing, the biggest difference to me is like one team had an offensive line that could do something and the other one didn't. Mac Jones, they had a game plan of get the ball out, be able to throw the football that way, and then they could run the ball. The Jets couldn't run the ball at all and didn't have great pass protection and didn't really have a passing game you could talk to at all in any stretch of the imagination. It was ugly. To me, I know the game came down to that moment in that punt return, but the Patriots outplayed the Jets for the majority of the day. I didn't get done with this game and go, oh man, the Patriots got lucky here. They really, they had 2 missed field goals that were very makeable, right? They should have had the lead already. Honestly, Belichick in a field goal type of game, I thought he made a blunder towards the end of the game and went for it on fourth down one time when you went, wait, they can't get past the 30-yard line. Why wouldn't you just keep playing field position and, go for a field goal there? But either way, his defense was so dominant and, the Jets had no chance really in any phase or area of the football game as far as their offense is concerned.
All right, so this has unofficially become the Zach Wilson podcast. Ever since it was, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now, I don't know how long ago that was, that you put Zach Wilson ahead of Trevor Lawrence in your rankings. This has become the Zach Wilson podcast. And you were complimentary of him a few weeks ago on some of the things that he's done. There's not a whole lot there, as you mentioned. Not a whole lot there, not a whole lot of protection. It's not like he has a ton of great
they've
weapons.
Been playing defense. They run the ball, and they ask him to make 4 or 5 throws every game. That's what they've played, why he's 5-2 during that stretch.
But this was rock bottom for the offense for the reasons that you mentioned. Let's take a look at how bad it was. If you're a Jets fan, look away right now if you're watching on YouTube or on Peacock. I think we have all the numbers here. 6 first downs and 9 completions. They had more punts than completions. They had 10 punts in the game, just 103 total yards. Let's do this. Zach Wilson talked to the media after the game. Chris Pope, one of our homies, wrote in, Zach Wilson, that boy needs to grow up, take some accountability for only having just over 100 total yards on offense and 3 points on the board. This is what Zach Wilson had to say after the game in the press conference.
Super frustrating, it was a frustrating day, of course. I felt like I had some balls that got away from me, but we got to find a way as an offense. We got to do some digging, watch the film, and see what we can do better. It was the same. I think you got to put into account it's windy as hell out there too, guys. There's times where you can't just completely try and take these shots down the field. You can see how much it's moving out there. So, we were trying to establish the run game. Same with what the Patriots were trying to do as well. They're not out there chucking 30, 40-yard throws down the field either.
As an offense, though, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. Do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
Thank you. Room's open.
All right, so that last answer is getting a lot of play out there.
We're just in the era of anything he does, we're going to jump on. Listen, I wish he would have answered that differently, too. It's the last question of the press conference, a throwaway. And I think sometimes guys are just like, did we let them down? No, I don't know. They've had games where they let up 30 points. Did you ask me did they let us down when they let up 30-something points?
The reason I don't like that question is because it's not a question. It's
right.
just a test.
Right.
Right? The reporter is just there's one way to answer that question.
Right.
Of course, right? Of course you scored 3 points. And of course you feel like you wanted to do better.
Yeah.
Right? And there's one you're supposed to say, "Oh, yes, you know, the defense played their hearts out and we would have loved to have gotten them." It's a test, it's not a question.
Yeah.
You know what answer you're supposed to get. And if they don't give that answer, then you can go, "Oh, look at this guy. He doesn't take accountability and all." I think that's I think that's BS.
Yeah, well,
I don't
they're
like that
fishing.
question.
They're fishing. I wish you would have answered it more like you're talking about too. But again,
it's like, but
I'm
I
not
also
going to eviscerate them over
But
it.
it's
That's
like,
that's what's funny.
But do you feel like you let them down? The only way you can feel like you really, like, of course, yes, your performance wasn't there. But if they're trying to score, right? It's like as long as I tell my kids that, as long as you're trying your best and doing all you can, it's like you have nothing to feel ashamed about.
Well, yeah, you could be
right?
like, no, I mean, I didn't let them down. We're professionals, and it wasn't our day, and like we're going to work tomorrow, and we're going to go it again, right?
Yeah. So I don't like the question as much as you're right. I mean, if he just would have answered it the way that everyone answers it,
man,
it's not
I feel
a story.
like we let the defense down. Damn, I played like crap today. The offense played like crap. I mean, they played a game that they held the Patriots to 3 points. It's a game you'd think they played well enough for us to win. If he would have said that, of course, yeah, that's what I would have liked. But it is also at the end of a day where, yeah, he just got his ass beat. They didn't play very well. He's probably freezing cold. He's tired, and he's answering questions, and he said that. So, okay. So it wasn't the greatest answer. But it's just it's the theme of look at anything we can to jump on Zach Wilson. That's where I defend it.
The real problem comes if it's coming from inside the locker room.
Right.
And there are maybe some reports out there that the players inside the locker room, some players, you never know who those players are. Are they disgruntled players themselves, but are frustrated with the offense, frustrated with Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
We don't know what he's like inside that locker room.
Right.
I mean, that would be when it starts to crack, right? Is when it's not just Zach Wilson versus the media, it's Zach Wilson versus the players. Is there any indication from you or from anything you've heard that there's growing frustration with him, like he's not grasping the playbook?
Yeah,
he's not
I don't
connecting
know.
with the guys.
I don't see that in the plays either. I don't look at it when I watch them on film and go, oh, man, they're dumbing it down. They really have to, do this to them. I think they're playing a team, first off, that's really good and has a good feel for them. And if I go back to the first game, there wasn't 3 people open the whole game. Now, he threw 2 out of his 3 dumb interceptions in that football game. But I don't know. So far, too, on social media, every play I've seen in the Jets game, everybody's covered, but they're all going, look, Zach Wilson didn't do this and he didn't do that. And I want to be like, but neither did this guy do that or this guy do that. And the play sucks, and they're all over it. So what do you want to say? There's a little bit of a predictability that we've talked about over the last few weeks with their offense, too, where everything is over the middle. Everything. And you watch them for the most part. They had the game against Buffalo is the only game where they kind of broke those tendencies. And I think they realized that they were so strong. But yesterday it looked like it went back to that. And then to his point, it did seem like it was a day where it was windy enough to where it was affecting the play. And it seemed like it was windy enough to where New England knew not to throw the ball down the field a whole lot. And the Jets, not that they were throwing bombs away, but were certainly throwing more aggressive throws than New England. So, they were ready to play in those elements and had more of a plan for it, too. And I would push back against that as well.
There's numbers to back up what you just said. So Mac Jones's average depth of target was 4.6 yards down the field. That was the lowest this week in the NFL.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson was 10.6 yards average depth of target. That was the 3rd highest this week in the NFL. So, yeah, the Jets were more aggressive, higher level of difficulty, as Zach Wilson also said to. And I know some people are probably going to get him on that, like an excuse, the windy, da-da-da-da. You ask a question looking for information, and that's a legitimate part of the game.
I know.
That the wind was affecting how you threw the ball. And
so
it is reality for Zach Wilson. So I won't knock him as much for saying that. But there are some fans out there who are.
Sure.
I want to get Jackson. Valente says, to you, how does Zach Wilson, if possible, fix these mistakes? Seems like his footwork in the pocket's off. He's not seeing the field clearly. Wide receivers are frustrated. And Dan Orlovsky pointed out that he might not even know his own playbook. Now, you said some of this stuff already.
Yeah.
But do you see the footwork stuff?
That's kind of a low blow by Dan Orlovsky. I mean, I can't really lie about that. You're going to show one play on Twitter, not really know the rules of the play, and then say the guy doesn't know a playbook. I mean, I got respect for Dan big time in a lot of ways, but to just throw that out there.
So we're showing Dan's tweet now, and he picks out one play. And what is he saying on this play?
And by the way, everybody's going over the middle, and nobody's open. I'd like to just explain to everybody, but let's just blame Zach Wilson. It's Zach Wilson's fault. Now, there's a play he's explaining where there's 2 receivers to the left. One's running a shallow cross. One's running a deep in cut. And then on the right, we have a post route and then a wheel route by the tight end who kind of chip blocked, right? So, what Dan is trying to say here is, hey, he threw the ball to the backside post route, and it looks like it was supposed to be a deep post down the middle of the field, and he threw it quickly. And now he's questioning whether he knew the playbook. What I would say is, first off, I have some experience with this type of play where in this coverage right here, sometimes the guy that's supposed to run the deep post, the big post as he calls it in this video, it converts because of the coverage into maybe what we would call a glance or a skinny post. And his route and what his eyes look like show me that he was running the skinny post, not the big post that Dan Orlovsky is talking about. He runs 7 steps. He puts his foot in the ground and looks back at the ball like he's supposed to get the ball right around there. Now, it's a crap throw, and Zach Wilson, to our homie's point, his feet are off. He looks to the left at first and then comes back. It's like he looked to the left, and let's see if we can just – I want to watch the start of the play again too. Looks to the left like, oh, wait, maybe this is cover 3 or something of that nature here at first, and then realizes, wait, this is the coverage the coach told me to get back to the skinny post. Again, that's where I don't like making comments like I don't know if he doesn't know the playbook when it looks like there's some different rules here, and I've had this rule in place in one of the offenses I was in. So that's where I would just – I'm not sure. And again, he played like crap yesterday. I know it hasn't been beautiful. I don't sit here, though, through the 5-game win streak and come away and go, man, he's missing plays and throws all over the field. That's how I judge it off of. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. And I'm not afraid, even though because I made the guy my number 1 quarterback, I don't give a shit. Like, my ego is not that big, and nor do I care to, like, say, hey, I was wrong, and this guy's playing like crap right now. I mean, anybody that's been listening to me knows I will do that. Yesterday was crappy. But it was a shitty offensive performance too, and then they to me one of their biggest problems is some of the young guys just talk too much. That'd be the other thing I'd say. Zach could answer that question better. Garrett Wilson's got to stop acting like he's the State of the Union addresser of the team now, like he's been around and gone to 7 Pro Bowls. You got Elijah Moore talking like he's a bona fide superstar and he should be able to just call for the ball and I should be traded when I want to be like, get out of here. So those are some of the biggest issues around this issue as well as far as the Jets. But that was ugly. And we'll see. I'll watch this film and I'll let you know. And if I see people wide open, then I'll go, man, Zach was horrible. Yeah. But I know in the game 2 games ago against the Bills, he was really good. And I know in the 2 games before that against the Patriots where it wasn't good, I came away going, there wasn't like 4 people open the whole day. He threw the ball crappy. I get that. So, and again, the other thing I just want to say is they're 5-2 with him as a starter. They're 5-2. I don't, and it's a weird thing. I know it was ugly, but it's weird. I've never seen a fan base that roots for their team to fail more than the Jets.
Chances are you're going to look at the tape and not see a whole lot of wide-open receivers.
Well, that's right. I want somebody to show me on Twitter. I mean, Dan Orlovsky, anybody. Show me on Twitter plays where guys are wide open and that he's missing it. Again, I'll get there. I'll probably get there tomorrow before I start to watch that film. But that's where I just want to – he showed me a play where everybody was blanketed. And he's been under pressure the whole game already to that point. And now we're going to – talk about if he doesn't know the playbook, and I just don't think that's a fair assessment to just throw on somebody.
Yeah, Patriots able to bring the pressure. Matt Judon had another sack and a half. He's got 13 sacks this season, most by any player under Bill Belichick. And yes, the Patriots defense has now allowed 7.7 points per game during their 3-game winning streak. They're pretty good. That defense is pretty good on any quarterback out there.
They definitely
All right,
are.
we could talk about Zach Wilson forever on this podcast, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we should, because that is some of the most entertaining time that we have. Yeah, Zach Wilson Unbuttoned.
Well,
changing the name of the podcast.
Well, it's again, I don't want to say this, but it's crazy is I feel like it's very similar to Josh Allen. And again, I'm not trying to say he's Josh Allen by any stretch of the imagination at this point, okay? But I do feel like it's just look for anything to jump on him. And Josh Allen, like in his second year when they were going to the playoffs, it was just every time he made a bad throw, they were like, hey, let's stop the game and break it down and tell everybody why he shouldn't have been drafted out of Wyoming. And it's just look for anything all the time. And that's what bothers me. And that's why if you don't start to show me tangible evidence of people wide open and stuff like that, then I'm going to clap back at you because I'm kind of like, I'm kind of sick of that. Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Peace out.